Welcome back to the deep dive. We grab a whole bunch of sources, figure out what matters, and get you up to speed fast. And today, we're diving into something really important for you. No matter where you're at building stronger self-esteem, we all have those moments, right, where we feel a bit unsure, or maybe a challenge just seems huge. So let's unpack this. How can we actually develop real confidence, that bounce back ability, resilience, and, self-respect in our everyday lives? We've got some great stuff here, educational health materials, expert insights that are going to give us some practical tools and maybe some fresh ways to think about it.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is that self-esteem isn't just about, like, feeling good temporarily. It's really a foundation, isn't it, for how you navigate the world, how you make decisions, and fundamentally, how you understand your own worth. And the sources we're looking at today, they offer some really clear, actionable advice, not just fluff.
Okay, let's start right there. The basics. What is self-esteem according to these sources? Like, really? They define it as how you see your own worth, right? And how much you value and respect yourself. And it directly influences, well, pretty much everything. Your confidence, your motivation, the choices you make every single day. Maybe just take a second now. Think about it. How does self-esteem already affect the choices you make? Maybe without you even realizing it, like deciding whether to speak up in class or trying out for a team, maybe. Even just choosing who you hang out with.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, having a healthy sense of self-esteem, it's almost like a superpower. Seriously, think about the benefits our sources point out. First, resilience. Bouncing back when things get tough. You don't crumble as easily.
You hit a bump, but it doesn't derail you completely.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And then there's trying new things. You're just more willing to step outside your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
Take on challenges because failure doesn't feel so final.
Less fear of messing up.
Precisely. And self-worth. Valuing yourself without constantly needing someone else to say good job. You know your value comes from within.
That's a big one, that internal validation.
Huge. And it also means respecting others. When you feel secure in who you are, you can respect differences in other people without feeling threatened. You stay true to yourself.
Okay, so maybe another quick pause for thought here. Can you remember a time, even a small one, when your self-esteem helped you face something tough? Or maybe try something new you were nervous about?
It doesn't have to be a massive event, right? Sometimes it's the small moments that build up.
Totally. Okay, so we get what it is and why it's important. Now, the fun part. How do we actually build it? This is where it gets really interesting. Our sources give us some solid, practical ways to start strengthening that self-esteem. Let's dive into strategy number 1. First step, being kind to yourself. It sounds simple, maybe even a bit cheesy, but it's all about that voice inside your head, your self-talk. We all do it, right? That inner commentary. Sometimes it's helpful, like, okay, focus, you got this. Other times, not so much. It can be pretty harsh, like, ugh, I'll never get this right, or why am I so awkward? We've all been there, haven't we? Maybe beating ourselves up over a tiny mistake.
Oh, definitely. And our sources actually explain why this matters so much, that negative self-talk. It's not just words. It can literally trigger your brain's threat response.
Whoa, really? Like a fight or flight thing?
Kind of, yeah. It makes challenges feel much bigger, more overwhelming than they might actually be. Your brain thinks there's danger, even if it's just, a tricky math problem.
So flipping that script is key then, turning "I'll never get this" into something more constructive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is tough, but I can figure it out. Or this didn't work. What can I try differently next time? It's about constructive self-talk versus destructive self-criticism.
So this raises a really important question then. Why do you think the actual words you use about yourself have such a big impact on your brain and your emotions?
Well, our internal dialogue essentially shapes our beliefs about ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And those beliefs directly influence our feelings and actions. It's not just background noise. It's like the operating code for our emotional state.
Yeah.
Positive, constructive code leads to better outcomes.
Got it. So be your own coach, not your own harshest critic. I like that. Okay, strategy number 2. This one connects really well. It's about how we deal with mistakes. Nobody likes making mistakes, obviously. It can feel awful. But our sources say they're actually gold mines for learning, if we let them be.
That's a great way to put it. Gold mines.
Yeah. Instead of seeing them as failures, think of them as opportunities, chances to figure out what went wrong and how to adjust. This ties into that whole growth mindset idea you hear about. It's about swapping "I'll never be able to do this" with "okay, I can't do this yet."
Exactly. That yet is powerful.
Super powerful. So instead of "Look, I failed this test, I'm useless," it's more like, "Okay, I didn't do well on this test. What study methods didn't work? How can I prepare differently next time? See the difference.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating here is how that simple shift in perspective, seeing failure as feedback, not finality,
Hmm.
can totally change your motivation.
Hmm.
When you see it as data, like you said, it takes the sting out of it, doesn't it? It's not about you being flawed. It's about the approach needing refinement.
Right. It's information.
Precisely. And people who do this consistently, they're more resilient, more willing to try hard things because a setback isn't a catastrophe. It's just course correction.
Okay, but let's be real. When you've just messed up, it's hard not to feel frustrated or down. So, interactive moment again. What strategies do you find most helpful for actually learning from a setback instead of just getting stuck feeling rubbish about it?
That's a key question. It takes practice, right?
Yeah.
Maybe focusing on what you can control for next time.
Yeah, focusing on the next step. Okay,
Yeah.
that leads perfectly into strategy number 3, setting realistic goals. This one's super practical. We all set goals, maybe for school, sports, hobbies, but the type of goal matters a lot for self-esteem. The big message here is focus on progress, not perfection. Perfection is, well, it's impossible, and chasing it can actually wreck your confidence.
Mm-hmm. That pressure is counterproductive.
Totally. So the sources talk about SMART goals. You've probably heard of this. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
The classic framework.
Right. But the A, achievable, is super important here. It needs to be a goal you can actually reach, maybe with some effort, but it's doable.
Not setting yourself up for failure.
Exactly. So instead of a vague goal like get better at basketball, a SMART goal would be I will practice dribbling drills for 20 minutes 3 times this week. See? Specific, measurable, achievable.
Relevant to getting better and time-bound by the week.
Yeah. Or maybe I will finish drafting my science project report by Friday afternoon. Clear target.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, achieving these small, specific goals, it creates this amazing positive feedback loop in your brain. Every time you tick one off, even a small one, it reinforces that feeling of confidence. It tells your brain, hey, I can do things. I can follow through.
Yeah. So each small win builds on the last one.
Exactly. It's cumulative. It builds self-trust and proves your capability to yourself step by step. Way more effective than aiming for one giant leap that might feel overwhelming.
Okay, so that makes sense. These small, specific wins build momentum. Quick question for everyone listening. How could setting these kinds of achievable goals help you build confidence for something bigger down the line?
It's like building blocks, isn't it? Each successful small goal makes the next slightly bigger goal feel more possible.
Definitely. Okay, final strategy from our sources, and this is a big one. The people you surround yourself with. Your circle really matters. Think about the people you spend the most time with. Do they generally make you feel good about yourself? Or not so much? Positive people, the sources say, are those who encourage you, who see your strengths, maybe even challenge you in a good way to grow, but always respectfully.
They're like cheerleaders and good coaches rolled into one.
Yeah. And then there are, let's call them negative influences, people who might constantly criticize or put you down, or maybe just drain your energy and make you doubt yourself.
And sometimes it's subtle, isn't it? Not always obvious negativity.
Exactly. Which leads to a really important question.
Mm.
How can you actually tell if someone is a genuinely positive influence on your self-esteem versus someone who might be subtly undermining it, maybe without even meaning to?
That's tricky. Sometimes it's cloaked in humor, or like, I'm just being honest. But our sources suggest paying attention to how you feel after you interact with them.
Checking in with yourself afterward.
Right. Do you generally feel energized, supported, more confident? Or do you feel kind of drained, maybe a bit insecure, or questioning yourself? That feeling is a pretty good clue. Your environment profoundly shapes your self-perception. Choosing supportive people isn't selfish. It's essential for building yourself up.
That's a great point. It's an active choice. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground, talking kindly to ourselves, learning from mistakes, setting achievable goals, choosing our people wisely. Now let's talk about something that kind of ties it all together. Celebrating strengths. Not just your own, but others too. The sources really emphasize recognizing what you're good at. It's not about being arrogant, it's about being realistic and fair to yourself. Maybe you are really good at staying calm when things get chaotic. Or maybe you're super supportive of your friends or teammates. Or perhaps you ask questions that really make people think.
Identifying those things is crucial.
Yeah. Examples from the sources were things like, I stay calm under pressure, I support my teammates, I ask good questions. Knowing these things builds self-respect.
And what's really interesting here, I think, is the dual effect. Recognizing your own strengths obviously boosts your self-esteem, but seeing and appreciating strengths in others, that builds a stronger, more supportive community for everyone.
Oh, I like that. Like creating a positive cycle.
Exactly. Imagine a group, a class project, a sports team, whatever, where everyone knows and values each other's different strengths. It's not just about individual stars, it's about how the combination of strengths makes the whole group better.
A community of strengths almost.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. It creates this environment where people feel seen and valued for what they uniquely bring. It shifts focus from competition or weakness finding to collaboration and mutual support.
So, quick reflection for you listening. Think about a group you're part of. What kinds of different strengths do people have? And how does having that mix of talents actually help you all achieve things together?
That diversity of strengths is often the secret sauce, isn't it?
It really is. Wow. Okay. What a deep dive into self esteem today. We've gone from understanding what it even is to getting into really practical steps like managing that inner critic with positive self talk, reframing mistakes, setting those smart
Just
goals.
using positive influences.
Right. And celebrating strengths, yours and others. It's a lot. But the core message I'm getting from all of these sources is pretty clear. You absolutely do not need to be perfect to have value. Real solid confidence. It comes from growth, from trying again, from self-respect, and just remembering you matter to yourself and definitely to others. Maybe we can all hold on to a little affirmation from this, like, I believe in my strengths, I can handle challenges, and I will keep growing.
That's powerful. And if we connect this to the bigger picture one last time, just remember that building self-esteem, it's a journey, right? Not like a final destination you arrive at. It's about constantly cultivating that positive inner voice and making choices day by day that empower you.
Exactly. And the best part, it's something you can actively work on literally every single day, starting right now. So here's a final thought to take with you this week. What's just one small specific action you can take, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, to be just a little kinder to yourself, or maybe to actively notice and appreciate one of your own unique strengths? We really hope this deep dive gave you some powerful tools, maybe a fresh perspective. Keep exploring, keep learning, and definitely keep growing.